Hi, I am Steve Harvey. Yes, I'm just like the comedian, except for I'm taller and I have a lot more hair. And though I can be quite jovial at times with a gregarious personality that I've been blessed with, when you listen to my messages from the Word of God, you will see that I don't utilize humor as a major tool. It's not to say my messages are void of humor, but that I strive to keep appropriate to the passage and to the time in which I'm presenting that passage to the listeners. But let me tell you more about myself as a minister and what I'm passionate about. If you look at my resume, you'll see that I've been at several churches ministering over the last 20 years. I have a passion for ministry. I have a passion for teaching people. I originally went to college to become a school teacher, that or a psychologist. I still wasn't sure, but boy, I do like knowing how people tick. So God called me into the ministry, and that's another story, maybe another video, or perhaps as you get to know me, I'll share that story with you later. But God called me into the ministry, and I became passionate about helping churches that are struggling, that are hurting, that are at a turning point in their spiritual lives. And I have a passion for people who are hurting. And that's why you see so many different moves in my resume, should you have my resume in front of you. But I am so passionate about my messages that I strive to stay just preaching from the scriptures. Some could call my messages contextual, where I look at and consider the whole passage. Some would say my messages are exegetical, which is a fancy word that means that I show how the passage of the scriptures relates to daily life. Now, that's not to say I can't do topical sermons. I do have that ability to also do topical sermons and case studies, people's profile studies. But I strive to only use those when the occasion calls for it. The rest of the time, by keeping to contextual or exegetical passages, I can stay true to the message of the Word of God and stay away from my hobby horses and other things that I might become compassionate about. Now, as a minister, I am not only passionate about the church I am serving and in seeking to help, but I'm also passionate about the community in which I live in. I strive to become part of that community in every way possible. Not just from registering to vote, but also to becoming involved with the city council, to become involved with other churches, and to become involved with coaching youth athletics, as well as participating in other leagues and social organizations within the community. As far as my message preparation goes, I am passionate about making sure that they speak to where people are. To that end, yes, I have my messages laid out, what I'm going to be looking at for the next 4 to 6 weeks, but I take that message coming. For example, I will take the message from March 23rd and bring it to tonight's Bible study meeting, and we would discuss what that passage speaks to us and how we see it. At times I have changed my outline, and at times I've added some illustrations, and at times I've reapproached the passage from a perspective I hadn't yet considered. Now, because I am passionate about the ministry, what my family and I are looking at or looking for is a long-term commitment. We had a long-term commitment in one church in Winslow where we bought and built a house. Bought some land and built a house upon it. We thought we were going to be there for a long haul. Sometimes God has other plans in store for us. But we are looking for that long-term commitment. We are looking for 10 plus years. A place where my children can call home and not have to worry about making friends and losing them because we're going to be moving in a few weeks. my family is maturing. My youngest just turned 2. My oldest is about to turn 12 in a couple of months. It is now important that in my passion to serve Christ, to be a minister, that I also serve a church that will allow me to have the best witness to my children and to my wife that I can. So for that end, we are looking for a healthy congregation. I don't measure health by the number. I do measure health by the spiritual attitude. And being passionate about ministry and about church work also allows me to, my final passion for being passionate about the ministry, passionate about the church, is that of our attitude. We have had 1,700 years of tradition telling us church is something we do on Sundays. But church is more than something we do on Sundays. It's who we are. It should be part of our DNA. Tim Brown, Cardinals football player, tight end, said this about the church. Church is like a football game. Well, life is like a football game. And when the church comes together on Sunday morning and Wednesday nights, that is the huddle. The purpose of that huddle is to encourage one another, to brush each other off on the plays that were flubbed, and to discuss what plays are going to be next. And then we leave that huddle and run the game. And the world doesn't want to watch the church huddle. The world wants to watch the church run the ball. And of course they're rooting for the church to fumble it in the process. See, by being passionate about the church, being passionate about my ministry, it allows me to be passionate about the people I serve. Be they the members of the congregation, former members of the congregation, or people who just happen to be connected to the congregation because they live in the community that the congregation is in. We are a family. People are hurting. They are looking for a sense of belonging. They're looking for a sense of acceptance. They're looking for non-judgmentalism. And that is what the church has to offer. But only once the church stops saying that our meetings are something we do to the church is who we are. Like I am part of the Harvey family, we are part of Christ's family. We're more than just his body. We are the children of God according to John and his letters. We are brothers and sisters. Paul tells the church in Corinth in chapter 10 that we who are many, when we take of the one loaf and the one cup, become one. We're one family. And when we realize that, then we can better reach the community. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm sure to make more as time passes, now that I know how easy it is. You'll know that there are 2 messages already online. What about Bob? I enjoyed writing that, about bringing a man in grace back to faith after he had been excommunicated by the church. It comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 5 and following. However, that message was written about 6 years ago, just after a lengthy illness I had. It was my first sermon back, and though it is a bit rusty, it is there for you to see because that sermon spoke to a situation I was not aware of in the congregation. The other message online that you can see is called Come and See. It's about Philip and Nathaniel calling his brother Philip in John's Gospel chapter 1 verse 43 and following, excuse me. And that message was presented back this last fall after I'd been away from preaching on a regular basis. So it is also a bit rusty. As you can see, I'm holding my tablet. I use this very tablet to record that message, and as I have gestured with my hands, that has caused the audio to be less than reliable. Sometimes it'll sound like I'm talking this close to the message because I'm quickly looking at my notes. and sometimes the voice is far away because I'm holding the tablet down. So I do apologize for the audio problems that you'll experience in that message. But please feel free to leave a comment on this video. Feel free to email me, Stephen M. Harvey, stephen.m.harvey@yahoo.com. Leave a comment on the video. Let us discuss. Thank you, and the Father's blessings to you.